And I was walking around today and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should talk about this on my page too, like being a mom too. Like somehow I got lost in the being a mom, and I was like, who am I? And then like TikTok helped to like figure out what I enjoyed again, like,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, I can still dance and be a mom. I can still sing and I can still do theater. And
I'm Zebulon Thomas, world-renowned videographer and GlideCam master operator turned strategist to the top 1% entrepreneurs. As a videographer, I've been responsible for helping companies maximize their exposure with creative videos. With over a decade of experience, that has led to my own next level as a strategist. I've been called upon to serve people from all over the world. And yes, I still can't believe I get to do this. How fun. So I'm here to share my strategic secrets with you. Welcome to the Think Like a Strategist podcast.
rear wheel drive. I just call it back wheel drive. Back wheels, the back tires.
I want to welcome Instagram and TikTok sensation SmilynnSam. The video that I found you is the one where you were doing accents.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I love that video. It was TikTok. So let me ask you, which platform did you start off on, and what made you go? Like, when was the point where you said, "I'm going to get an account"?
Really, it started like in like December of 1 year. I was just posting a little video of my little girl. I was like, oh, this is cute. And like, I started just posting videos of my little girl. Then I was like, well, so I started on an app called Smule. So I really liked singing. And, but the thing is, like, that app, you have to pay if you want to do like be a VIP part of it. So I'm like, well, I can sing on TikTok and dance or whatever. Like, I'm not limited to just singing on like a Smule app. So I was like, well, let me try TikTok, because there was a bunch of people you could sing, dance, like all that stuff. Like, there's so much stuff on there. So that's really why I started on TikTok. And then it just kind of grew up like from there, because I would see people from like England and Scotland. You're like, whoa, I love their accent. Sure, let's do an accent challenge. So that's it. You just do it and meet amazing people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you have so much energy, and I think TikTok is so good for creative people. I love that you kind of do you just randomly throughout the day just like, hey, I'm going to do something, or do you have like a strategy behind what you do?
Well, in the beginning, it kind of started out like, I'm just going to randomly do whatever. Like, it's just fun stuff that I enjoy. And so people come on, awesome. Not, it's okay. Like, this is just my life, basically. I do keep my daughter off of TikTok now. So.
Yes, that's good. I mean, same here. It's
down.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, once you start to get out there a lot, there's no reversing that. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yes, I was like, okay. Especially like, I also get so intrigued by people who can be anonymous too, and I'm just like, that's so cool. But you're right. There's no going back now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like. Yeah, it's like, I don't think a lot of us think about that when we're going to get online, right?
Yeah.
And we're just going to be us, and we're going to do this. And when they go, you start a count up, what's your name? Boom, boom, right? We're not thinking, maybe we should have like an alias, right?
Yeah.
But even when you create an alias, it just doesn't seem right. And then do we really want to take on a new identity, right?
Yeah.
So we just put ourselves out there, and then we realize that, how do we separate private life from this limelight?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and well, speaking of singing, you have an incredible voice.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just like, where's Broadway or Disney? Like,
that was my dream when I was in high school and college.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any plans to really move more forward with your singing and all, like bringing it all together with what you do?
Honestly, I really don't know. Community theater starting to open back up here locally, so my husband and I've been talking to like join that again, just to kind of get back on stage. Like I was thinking the other day, there's just no better feeling to me than being on stage. I'm telling you it.
Yeah.
There's like an adrenaline rush, but you're like, oh, like in the moment. And it just is so awesome.
In front of real people, right?
Yeah, real people. Yeah.
Exactly.
And also like being in a dance studio. I was thinking like, I miss this, like the smell of a dance studio and like the floor and the sweat. Like, it's just like,
oh yeah. Yeah. There's work.
Like,
it's work. It's work.
I was like, I need to get in a studio again just to dance. Like, oh.
Yeah. Absolutely. And see, that's the beauty of social media is, you know, here you are expressing yourself, doing the things that you want to do. And as you do what you do, the world will come to you. Things will come to you because you're in that zone of just doing you. And so many people try to go, well, what do I want to create? What kind of business do I want to start? Well, yada, yada. Really, I just think more people just need to go, what makes me super happy? What can I have really fun? And keep doing that. And if people like it, they'll let me know. You know?
Yes. And like, that's the whole awesome thing about social media. Like, you're not limited to being on a particular stage, like locally. You could just, the internet is your stage. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then if you do start to do the in local
like in person,
stuff, take the footage with the people, get to see a behind the scenes look of that. Yeah, so there's so many opportunities there. So I love your singing. And then I noticed on your profile that you're a gamer. So I'm a gamer. I love gaming.
Awesome.
Let's talk about that. Like, what type of video games are you into?
Yeah. So my husband kind of got me started into PC gaming. So I enjoy playing Overwatch and like Halo.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of like MMO games. Right now we're playing Lost Ark, but that's really fun.
That's a big game. That's a big game. That's a long game. Yes. It's a great game too. Yeah.
I'm just like always open to learning new games. I know, like, for instance, like Counter-Strike and games like that, they're so hard to me. I'm just like, oh, those first person shooter games I'm working my way to them, but they get me real stressed.
Yes.
Like my heart, I'll be like shaking. I'm like, okay. Like I get so nervous and scared.
Especially a game like Ark, like right? That one, but Halo 2, you know.
Yes.
But I like Halo because you can. It's a constant like refresh.
Yes.
Right. Have you ever played like Battlefields?
I haven't. My husband has though, and every time I watch it, he's like, "Okay, all right, let's go." Like he gets it, and he's just like, "Okay," he's like sweating. I'm just like, "Hey, are you okay over there?"
I love it.
Like, I'm just in a match. I'm in a match.
Because you it's not a game that you just casually sit down and play. It's really like, let's get in my zone or my KD is going to be bad. Like, it's like, let's go to it. You know, absolutely.
And like, there's another game I love called The Forest.
I haven't heard of that one.
Okay, so it's kind of like a survival game, but also like you're on an island and there's like mutants and there's a story that you play through. Also, it's just like, oh, it's scary, but it's so fun. And I'm like, I'm ready for number 2 to come out. That's like one of my favorite games too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I do like, I think that's the thing. Like, okay, let me ask you, the golden question is, have you played Minecraft?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
I really enjoy Minecraft. I like the building aspect and like being able to build and like find things. I do get nervous and scared about like creepers and Endermen and like all the the creature. I'm like, babe, let's just put it on creative mode. Like, I don't want to have to work.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time in the creative mode myself.
Oh my gosh. But in general, I always like try to run and hide from all. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going outside. It's right there. And he was like, just kill it. I'm like, no, it's not the same. You don't understand. Just wait. I just want it to go away. And then I'll go out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I do. I enjoy Minecraft. But one time I was building my house and I was trying to build it like underwater and put like glass around like in the water. So like, oh, cool. My mouse battery died and I wasn't done in the water and I drowned in the water and I was like, hey, help. And they're playing on a basically survival mode game. And I was like, this is not fair. And so I was like crying. I was like, they're like, we'll just restart. It's okay.
Yeah, survival mode. No. That's hardcore right there. Yeah, I did a little survival mode. The creative mode for me is like the first time I played Minecraft, I broke sand. Like I hit the block of sand, and I was like,
this is kind of cool. It was like a weird feeling like to hit it. And then I was like, I laid a block down. I built a small like foundation. I'm like, oh, this is going to be addicting. Believe it or not, a lot of people when people ask me like, where do you come up with some of the ideas you have? And to me, it is Minecraft. It's because I'll go into Minecraft and the music is perfectly orchestrated to stimulate your brains for creative, So I'm in this world and I'm just kind of casually doing what I do. At the same time, I'm able to get in the zone to be able to think about all the amazing things that I can create in this world or what people want. Right. So that's my go-to, even if I'm like for anything really. So your videos are insanely cool. Personal. Look at you go right here.
Oh gosh.
Like you're in full go mode right there. That's so awesome. Well, and that's the other thing is I love your personality. You're definitely an entertainer and you're definitely meant for social media because of just your energy and you can adapt,
Thank you. Yeah. I just like having fun.
Absolutely. I think you watch in a year's time. I hope that you get like, first of all, everything that you're just desiring to attract. Right. But I really think you would be so good for like a cartoon character in a Disney movie or something.
Oh my gosh.
Basically, I think you need to be with Disney. Right.
Oh my gosh. I would love that.
I just think like you have that voice for voiceover work. You have that voice for cartoons. You have that. And you also have the imagery to do the things that would be inspiring to others.
I want people, I want to just bring a smile to people's faces. Like, and even every day in our everyday lives and stuff. And I in general, also, I try to keep religion and politics off my page in general, just because those can be hot topics for people. And I'm like, it's okay. Everybody's got their own, everybody's going to have different opinions on that. So what can bring people together and not do that? It's just being funny, entertaining, just in general, like smiling, just having fun. Like people need fun.
Yes, they do.
They need fun. So, but yes, also like, and I was walking around today and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should talk about this on my page too. Like being a mom too. Like somehow I got lost in the being a mom, and I was like, who am I? Mm-hmm. And then like TikTok helped to like figure out what I enjoyed again, like,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, I can still dance and be a mom. I can still sing and I can still do theater and voiceover, especially since I want to get into voiceover. We just got our microphone and stuff set up and upstairs, but yeah, I'm just, like, absolutely. I can still do it and be a mom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I that's exactly how I seen your content. And we don't always have to like niche down or categorize who our audience is. It is nice to know, but basically it is like if everyone's turning to you and they're like, I think you've definitely accomplished the goal of making people smile and laugh. Like the energy is there. What's nice is as your kids get older, they'll look at you and go, oh, wow. Like, look what she's done, what I can do. And sky's the limit, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because you could easily just turn off the camera and just be the stay-at-home mom and the wife and just, maybe just do that and be fine. But the fact that you're showing that and you're being fun, it's inspiring other people to do the same and also not take life so seriously.
Yes.
And also, that I like it because you're spending you time, right?
Yeah.
While doing it, so I mean, that's important.
Yes. Definitely. And like, yeah.
And you're being like, you're showing vulnerability too at times. I'm sure of that, so the more of like when you're talking about things that you want to bring up, like the more of that vulnerability and turning into something that's fun and entertaining, it changes that, like,
yes.
I mean, a lot of people go to the default of like the worst case scenarios or they go to default of like, I'm always in business mode or whatever.
Yes.
Why can't the default be happiness and smiling? Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm always here until you either make that go higher or you try to make it go lower, but I'm not going to stay there. Right. I'm going to spring right back to this.
Yes, definitely.
It's a new year. Get it while it's fresh. Go on that journey. Start that business. Fail forward and make this year count. Success is not fun without the risk. You can't lose. Think outside the box and do something different. Be unique. And most importantly, be you. Your prospects are waiting. They need you. Take the next step. Visit ZebulonThomas.com. ZebulonThomas.com. This is brought to you by Think Like a Strategist podcast with Zebulon Thomas.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that you could do. And I've like thought about possibly doing like a Patreon, but then I'm like, I always feel so weird to like
monetize it
like
maybe.
Yes. I'm like, I can't bring myself to do that.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't know.
That's a very good question you bring up, because a lot of people do face that, or they rush into it too soon. And the strategy that I have learned and that I've developed over the, 15 years of my career is really, it's all about building that community, right?
Yes.
So, you have a community that's growing, and it's at the very beginning, definitely you don't want to throw into something like, hey, check me out. You guys are liking my stuff. Here's my Patreon,
Yeah.
What you want to do is build that trust.
Yes.
And then the people that really like just fall in love with your content, they're going to move wherever you want them to move.
Yeah.
And that's when you say, hey, you know what? I want to do more of this, and I want to do this a little more full time, and I want to give you more great content. If you would love to support what I do, right? This is what we offer. So what's nice is the mistake a lot of people do is they pull back and they put everything behind a paywall. And then we've lost the trust, right?
Yeah.
That's when you're all about the money. But when you're giving, like if you stay consistent on your Instagram and you keep giving, and then you were to throw in, hey, I also have maybe maybe let's just say it's the books, right? Maybe that's your niche, right? Yeah. So maybe you go, I'm doing a book reading or something, and I'm comical in it in my Patreon. Now the people will split off to that. And the other people that are not ready yet, they'll still love your content, and they won't look at you like, oh, she's making money. Because the thing is, like, I would love to support you. When I go to your Instagram, like, well, the only way I can support you is to comment, like, share, and just like, what's up? So it's not a bad idea to start to figure that out, to go, maybe I would do good on Patreon, or find the outlet that's going to be comfortable and easy for you to use.
Yes.
Patreon is really simple. Yes. I think it's great. And I mean, you're not trying to get into like courses and all that. No, so I really think that would be good. Plus, it would give you support for branding then. Because then I would rock a shirt. Like if you made your own custom shirt, I'd rock a shirt with you on it, or one of your logos, or whatever you end up creating, a little meme of you, Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've had that suggestion. I'm just like, well, I'm not ready for that. So I don't, but I like that idea of like possibly reading a book or something. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Exactly. So there's little things inside what you do, because remember, going back to like, don't try to put labels on it or try to make it a business, because then it falls apart.
Yes.
It's like water. It has to flow. You hold water, it gets stale and stagnant, right?
Yes.
So you got to keep your life flowing, and same with what you're doing. And like I said, I think like that's why you see a lot of people who do merch, like I have hats, but I don't sell my hats. Like these are for me. I've had people ask, where can I get a hat? But I'm like, I don't know. I give you one. I mean, because I don't like, that's not my thing, and I feel the same way as like, where do I monetize what I do? My monetization is basically what I'm doing, and companies want a part of that. And so then I go, well, I can work with you and your company, so I don't actually have to pull from my audience to make my income. I pull from the companies who want a part of what I've created for my audience.
Yes.
So in your case, you become a cartoon.
That's awesome.
Voiceover, right? There you go.
Yes. I actually have some auditions I'm going to try. I've saved them for like, someone will send some auditions in this weekend. So we'll see.
That's awesome. And document that. Share that with us on Instagram or TikTok, because then we're all going to root for you. Like this is American Idol, right? We're going to root for you. So well, I love that you're at the very beginning of this process, because it's a beautiful creative state, and that's the vulnerability that we want to know. Like, I didn't start off with all the great high tech gear. I remember when I was broke trying to do my videos, and I would ask companies, could you sponsor me with a lens or a discount? No. And I had to go in debt to get the lens for my camera. And now I get this stuff sent to me almost on a weekly basis, and I'm opening it like it's Christmas every week. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So now awesome. I can buy those things, but so it's like at the beginning of you figuring out the gear is fun, because you're like, I'm sure you're looking at other Twitch or TikTokers and you're like, what are they using? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. And especially there was one, because I was trying to figure out, because I like being able to stream both on TikTok and Twitch at the same time. Somebody was doing geotagging and they were going like around the world in maps, like the world map on Google Maps or something. And I was like, how are you doing this? I was like, how did you do that? So he messaged me. So I'm like, okay, well, let me look into that. But
yeah. And so you're building,
so cool to me.
You're building out all your tech. I mean, my like, that's like, I had a podcast where I was just standing in the corner with the mic in the corner of the wall, and it was all audio. And then I did the video and I was going through, I had a table with cool mics and I got through like 12 different microphones. I found this one. I love how I sound. So I always say, if you're looking for a microphone, don't go off of what other people are using that's the best. Go off one when you hear it and you know, that's my voice. It would sound good on that. So I sound like I have Rode microphones, like the NTX was a great microphone for me. I like my shotgun mics, but this Shure microphone for me, I feel I sound the best.
Like, cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So microphone. And then like, even, I'm sitting on a futon. So like, I was like, ooh, let me get a futon in my office/podcast area so that I can podcast whenever I want. Very easy. I have everything set up and it's just here and I just click a button and we're good like this. And then when I'm not podcasting, I can sit here and lounge or have someone come over, and like we can talk business, Yeah. So create the environment, Yes.
That's
absolutely
awesome. Yeah. Right now, I'm just in my office.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm working on organization in it. So that's one thing I got to get better at, organizing.
Really cool. So do you have anything that you would like to share with people or plug anything like one of your platforms or like a little bit about you that people are like, I want to go see what they're talking about. Like, let's follow SmilynnSam.
Oh gosh, it's always the hardest to me. So like it reminds me of like Hot Ones. Have you ever heard of Hot Ones?
Yes.
And they're like, anyways, and like, tell us what you're doing. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay. So he was like, what would you say? I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
But I love just having fun. Just have fun with your life. Don't take it too seriously. And also like SmilynnSam, I'm trying to get into the voiceover world and the acting world with that, especially since it's easy to do at home. It's very easy. But yeah,
just doing you. I love it.
I don't really have it. I'm just here.
Well, they heard it first. You heard it first, people. There she is. I love it. No, it's really good. And it's truthful. That's the thing I like about you is you're organic, right? Very organic. And you keep that brightness in you and shine that light. It's so good. Like, no wonder everybody's following you. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh.
And I know it's weird, right? I know. I can tell that because you're like, I just doing me, right? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've had people, they're like, oh my gosh, you messaged me back. I'm like, what? What do you, I'm literally just a person. Like and I've also come to realize that like with celebrities, like I don't get crazy anymore with celebrities and stuff because that's literally just what they do. They're also a person. Like, they have a life that they live. And that's just something that you do that only you see. The rest of their life is like,
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like,
just don't.
Yeah, I don't.
You're a person. It's just,
I've met a lot of empowering people that weren't as they were. Okay. I've met a lot of people that are really good people, really great people, celebrities, and I didn't geek out either. The people that I geek out over is, there's been a few YouTubers that have said something that related to something that I was dealing with in my life, and their courage and ability to overcome or push through pulled me so much. So when I went to meet them, yes, I will stand in line to meet you because it's not about business or I want you to know me. It's like, I just want to say thank you because you got me through some of the darkest times.
Yes.
So to me, that's worth getting giddy and worked up. Like I'm going to meet someone who did it, right? Just be in your presence, Because all the stuff that we do online entertainment is fun, but that doesn't mean that we should be put on a pedestal, right?
Yes.
We are all the same. We all have bad days.
I'm like, like I say it, but I can still I still have days.
Absolutely.
Try not to let the bad days get you down, but
that's true. Don't get stuck there, right?
Oh, yes.
And with the way the world is now, we all need to just laugh more, embrace more people, and just come together. And it's not about what's happening. It's about who is the person that's standing in front of me, and how can I embrace them and show them support, right? And really connect and not judge whatever's going on to that person.
Absolutely. And like, yes. And it also helps to have like a perspective of your situation. And like every morning we wake up and we're like, okay, what am I grateful for today? You know, every day, wake up, go to bed. What was good? What was I grateful for that happened today? You know, and just,
absolutely. Do you have, if you don't mind sharing, I mean, you don't have to, but do you have like a ritual or routine in your gratitude in your morning that what wakes Sam up?
Yeah, well, I do wake up my alarm right at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just because I have a little girl, she wakes up later, but I still work from home. So I, do that as much as I can before she gets up for her day. But drink my hot tea. I'll go through Instagram or TikTok right quick. But then like I do enjoy just like listening to relaxing music and like calming my mind and just thinking, okay, I'm so grateful for my husband. I'm so grateful for my daughter. I get to be home with her. Like just in general, just things I'm grateful for. I'm glad I have a roof over my head. I hate doing laundry. I hate doing laundry. So every time I have to be like, you know what? I have clothes to put up. You know what I mean?
Yes. So that's your like annoyance part, right? Like,
yes. I'm like, I don't like, that's the one thing. I have piles of clean clothes. They're clean. They're laundry, but I'm like, I just dread putting them up. But I'm like, hey, I'm grateful I have put them up. So that's what gets me through doing laundry. There's things like that, like changing my perspective.
I love that. Changing your perspective. I love that. Like making it work for you in the situation.
Yes.
So many people need to do that. Like including me, right? We need to do that. So like, absolutely. Like, with me, like, I get bombarded with so much information during meetings and stuff. And then to be creative, some companies or some people don't realize that you can't just expect me to produce. There is a gift that I have, but the way to feed that gift is walking in the park, right? And if I don't take the time for myself, which, that's that gratitude. And I do give the gratitude. I spend about an hour a day, if not longer, when I'm on my walk, and I'll go through my rituals of first, sometimes when I get to the park, I'll right off the bat, I was like, thank you. Like I'm on my walk, I'm feeling good. And I start going through all that. And then that'll lead into conversation of like, what do I want? What do I need to focus on? What do I want to attract in my life? And then I start saying my mantras and just getting that energy going, right? But then other times I might not do any of that, because when I get there, I feel like it hits me and I go, maybe I just need to listen today. Like be quiet and just listen, right? To nature and feel like, what am I supposed to be doing? Right. Yes. Yeah. And we need to keep that mind-body connection, because not only are we thinking and manifesting, but how do we feel? Right. Like, it's like, what do you think about that? What do you feel about that? Right.
Yes, definitely. And also like, for instance, like with social media, I feel like sometimes we can get so caught up in it. I know I can. I'm just like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta check this. I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, especially on the weekends, I do try to keep social media out, and I'm like, at least like be in the moment of the whole weekend. Yeah. But every day still, like, I'm like, okay, let me put my phone away. Let's just be with my little girl. She's not going to be 2.5 forever. What can we do today? Let's color. Okay. And we'll play back and forth with each other. She's in a thing where she loves for you to do whatever she's doing. Like she'll be like,
Yeah.
Instead, like you have to like copy her back. Like,
yeah. And from, I'm glad you said it, because from experience, and I think a lot of people could think about this more. They should, having an older daughter and a younger daughter, I saw one grow up. Right. I see how fast that goes. And so now I have this different perception of time. Right. And, when we hit a certain age, maybe that's late 20s, we don't really see ourselves aging as much, but everybody else seems to be changing. Right. And so like their hair is longer, they're taller. Like, I haven't seen you in a while. So we get this false concept of time at that point. But then you realize that, but then you also look like I vlogged 3.5 years of my life every single day on YouTube. And so it's nice to go back. It was a lot of work. It was one of those things where I would hold the camera up or the phone and I'd be like, do I want to enjoy this moment or record this moment? Because I can't do both. And so I chose to film it. So I look back and I could see my life, which is cool. So you're going to be able to look back with all the TikTok and all the stuff you do and see yourself grow. And you're going to realize that there's little time periods, like maybe this couple months or this year was this. And you're going to go, wow, that was like a whole different world to me, a whole lifetime. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that we should always lead with, where is our happiness? How can I spend more time with family? And what is something that improves the world? Like, you are actually doing something for the world and society. You are changing the energy of our world one smile at a time. Like, should be your tagline. But I mean, like, you literally are. Like, the more you push forward, like, no matter what's going on, I'm going to do this, because there's so much out there. And so I think that's awesome. And I think you're great for doing that.
You're listening to. This is the Think Like a Strategist podcast. I'm your host, Zebulon Thomas. Let's go. Listen, if you truly want to take your business to the next level, then I highly recommend getting involved in my Facebook group and asking the questions that you need strategic answers to. And if you're active enough, you might even gain access to a secret mastermind group. Shh, don't tell anybody. See you in the group.
Also, sometimes I feel like, sometimes called like I've heard like imposter syndrome sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's so funny because in general, like, I'd say most every day, I'm very happy. We're happy-go-lucky, like, it's all good. But sometimes you have, have those moments like anybody else, and I'll cry or be sad or upset and frustrated. But I'm like, sometimes I feel like, oh, how am I supposed to portray that? But really, I'm feeling this. I'm not feeling happy. I'm supposed to feel happy, but so I guess that comes in sometimes. Yeah,
you have that. Like, how am I able to do this when I'm not perfect?
Yes. And I'm like, well. Sometimes I feel like I need to post about that and be like, look, I'm a person. Like, so I cry. I get frustrated too. Like,
absolutely. And why is it okay? Why is it okay for us to talk about the highlights of our life, but it's not okay to talk about the bad times?
Yeah.
Or when I'm struggling.
Like, if you're struggling with something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're stressed out. You're trying to do the 50 million things that a mom has to do. Right.
Oh gosh.
Right. And sometimes you need a break and you sit down, right? And so that is so true. And I think the more that we do that, the more we're going to help each other in a way, because that's the problem is everyone's looking at Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all this place, and they see the highlight reel.
And it's only what I want you to see.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. People look at me like, Zeb, why are you so excited and happy all the time? Like, not really. I mean, I get excited to get on here and do that stuff, but sometimes my days are very, very hard because of a lot of things. Trying to make the time, trying to produce, trying to be there for everybody, and then realizing that maybe I didn't take enough time for myself, right?
Yeah.
But so I have started going, let me post this up, and some people are like, oh, is everything cool? Everything's fine. I just want people to realize that it's okay, and because I want to start the conversation. Like, if we're all having a crappy day, let's get each other out of this day. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that. It's like talking to a good friend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah. There's I don't know how like vulnerable we can get on this here. I don't.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as vulnerable as you want.
So like, I'm a big advocate for like mental health. Like, I feel like people should take their mental health seriously. And I've been like, especially had a friend pass away, like about a year ago in April, mental health issues. And that was like a huge thing. And I think that's a lot what also in a way, like he said, like blew my account up, so to speak. Like, that was the initial one, was this video posted about I was being very vulnerable. I was crying, like, because I was so sad. And I just wanted people to know that they are very worthy and, like, they're meant for greatness. And because a lot of people don't feel that. And if I can at least give somebody, help them feel loved, even through a screen, and like to hope they can hear my heart, feel my heart, like that was just my goal. Because there's so many people out there struggling. So I'm a huge advocate for like mental health. But some days, like, I got a ton of messages from people, and I was trying to help them and like encourage them and just be like, there's a lot of people going through some tough situations. And like, that's a whole nother thing with my situation. I'm like, oh, I'm very grateful. Like, holy crap, I have a really good life compared to a ton of, and so that's a whole nother thing. Like that helps get me through the day. I'm like, wow. And if this person can overcome what they're doing, like, holy crap, then I can get over this stump in my toe, like whatever. Like,
yeah.
But yes, I'm a huge advocate for like mental health, and just because I know if I have intrusive thoughts, I have an awesome support system. Everybody has intrusive thoughts. And like, if I can still be happy though, and have my support system, like there's people that don't have a good support system. And so that's like really my huge thing. It's like mental health too. I
love that. And it should be number one. There's so many, that system is broken to help. Right. I lost my cousin to mental health. We'll call it that.
I did too.
Yeah. It's hard. And I didn't, we don't see that coming.
Yeah.
Everything looks so good. And it sucked because at the time, this was, I think it was 2017. I had moved to Miami and I was doing really, really good in my career, my life. And I was like, I was literally a day away from just going, hey, come on out. He was an MMA fighter. He started getting into that stuff. He was a vet, he served our country. But he had everything. Like it looked like he climbed mountains. Yeah. He was a good looking guy, Yeah. And so it was like, it just shattered my world. I was like, what? And he was like a brother to me. He's like first cousin. So it's like brother to me.
Yeah.
And I've lost friends similar, and I've seen people struggle. I even struggle, a lot of times because I've been through so much in my life that I've been through the trauma. It's, you can't shake it, so you have to learn to play with it a little more, or, it's almost like a post-traumatic stress, depending on the trauma you went through, so, I love people. I'm a kind person, but at the same time, when I'm in public, I get really uneasy because of the things I've been through. It makes me look at the world differently. I don't see it as sunshine and rainbows. I try to, I tell my kids that it's all good. Everything's all good, but I
want to protect them.
Right. And I look, but I look at people and I go, what is your intention? Why are you getting so close? But they don't know that. No. I'll still greet them like, hey, how you doing?
And I mean, before we came on here, I was like looking up some information about so, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, like about my story and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably saw the one about me being kidnapped when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, I've been sharing a little bit more of that, been a little more open, and I'm doing a documentary about my career. Like there's certain parts of my life, but my career, and I think I'm gonna put that part at the very beginning to let people know, like surviving a kidnapping and getting away from my kidnappers, not knowing who they were. So there's that part of like I don't even know who they were. Like I can't even defend myself against people I never got to see, because they bagged my head. So it's like, it's one of those things where we had to really go over it. But then, as an adult now, the world has changed. I'm sure you've grown up in the same world I did in a similar way to where we were allowed to roam free. And it's really not as safe as it used to be.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's changed. So like, my kids can go play. Well, I'm 3 miles out, like looking around like this, scan the perimeter,
Yeah. And I'm like, I remember being able to go over sleepovers or be like, oh, we're going down so-and-so's house on the street. We just walk down the road and just
ride our bikes. Yeah.
Ride our bikes, 4-wheelers, all that. Like, but then like my daughter now, I'm like, Steven, she ain't going to spend the night nowhere.
No way.
I'm like, they'll come here after I vet the parents and like vet the kids. Like,
That's why I've made my house my castle. And like, it was one of those things where I'm like, well, when I got this place, I knew that we're going to be able to expand and stuff. And, so I want to be that home that she can bring her friends over and have a good time. And it's safe here. And I ain't got to worry about her.
Yes. Yeah.
And
yes,
but it's hard because as parents, we try to control what we can't control.
Yeah.
Right?
And like, I also wanted to experience life.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no, wait.
Yeah. Right. But if you think back of all the stuff that you've done as a kid, without parental vision, if you thought about your kid doing that, wouldn't you think like, oh my gosh, you're in so much trouble.
Yes.
You're going to get hurt. You're going to kill yourself doing that. Like, it's like, I've done so many things that are not smart, but I feel like we're just, there's something protecting us when we're kids.
Yeah,
invincible.
for real.
I've taken some harsh spills on dirt bikes, or I've been in places I shouldn't have been. And I'm like, how did I get out of that?
And also I feel like my gut instincts helped me out a lot.
Yes.
I'm like, trust that gut instinct. So if you're like, that's helped me out a lot.
And with mental health, that's what I would like to share with everyone else. Like just me who deal with things on a daily basis as well. It's easy to have anxiety shoot through the roof, right? So you have to find your pain points. You have to find those anchors that trigger that anxiety, but then you have to get out of your head. It's so hard to do, but it's a combination of focusing on your breathing and getting out of your head and then feeling, how does your body feel, right? Because your mind is going to do a bunch of things. And I'm learning that the most powerful thing you can do is master your mind and master your mind to where you say, I tell it what to do. It does not control me. And it's hard because I was even like doing a workout. I'm like, I'm going to push my body. What's the worst thing going to happen? I'm pass out. I don't care. Let's go. I got to get in shape. Right. And I'm just like, let's go. And then I would have that fear creep. I'm like, nope, not today. But then sometimes it'll set me on my butt. Like, it'll sit me down and I'm like, okay, you won today. That's okay. It's okay if anxiety beats you down today, or fear, or you get stopped in your tracks, or sadness. It's okay to have a deep, long cry, right? Yeah. It's okay because we're all doing it. But the more you do that, that's okay because that's your emotions. You don't want to be blocked. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I mean, I believe in Jesus. But like in the Bible, I read, take captive every thought, so.
Like apply it to your life, right?
Yes. And like, okay, so I'm thinking this, I'm going to take it. Okay. Take a moment. Like, is this good or bad thought? Okay. Bad. Okay. How is this from me, from someone else? What is this from? Like, what's going on? And then work through it and get it out. Like, I try not to let my mind stay on the bad. I mean, it's just, I'm a huge fan of like the vibe that you put out is going to come back.
Yeah. So, karma and the law of attraction, right? Like if you have really crappy friends in your life, it's because that's what you're attracting.
Yes.
It's not them. You need to work on you. What's and sometimes it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you need to have maybe an identity shift or an energy shift. You need to spew out some of that baggage, right?
Absolutely.
And I love what you said, like, you take a verse or something that you're looking at and you apply it.
Yeah.
I will listen to so many different people with so many different religious backgrounds. I've even heard people that don't have any religious background. They say something and it doesn't, like, we get stuck in like, maybe this person's this or that. I can't apply that because that's what they believe in.
That's not true. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Like, take that and go, how can I actually convert that into my belief system?
Yeah.
Like, how can I use this thing to serve me? Right.
Yeah.
Because it's so profound and it's so helpful. And, it's very important to do so, and
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we did that more, we'll be able to get through our day more. And you said something about like the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
A friend of mine, really incredible person who just meditates a lot. He said something to me when I called him up, because I call him all the time. I'm like, I'm either overwhelmed or I'm having this stress or anxiety. And he said a few things in my life that really just set me on track. 3 things in general. One is everything you've done in your life, if you just breathe life back into that old stuff, into this new world, you will be set. And when he said that to me, I was like, okay, because I've done, I was a musician. I did hip hop music. I taught, ninjutsu, like yogic martial arts. I've taught physical training. I've taught, coaching, and now a video. Like, I've done these seasons of my life. Yeah. To mold to the time. But now in this world, because it's different now, just like if you were to meditate every day for 45 days, you'll be a different person. You'll arrive differently. So our prayer, right? Even the sleep schedule. If you change that one thing and you stay consistent over 45, 60 days, like, you're going to be different. And so he said, if you did that, so I ended up doing that. I said, well, how can I bring all that I have done, that I've worked so hard for, that just maybe didn't completely top out at successful moments? What can they do now? And it serves me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that like right now, the other thing he said was focus on, for me, it was like, focus on your camera. Don't go focus on the clients you need. Focus on the videos that you want to create. Like with you, I say, I focus on just creating the content. The world will come to you. You don't even have to go out there and look for it.
Yeah.
And then the third thing he said that goes back to what you're saying with the thought. He goes, these are thousands and if not millions of years of evolutional thoughts that they're not your thoughts. Like if you have a bad thought that comes through or a scary thought, like, oh, what if I'm not enough? Or what if I'm not able to provide for my family, right? Like that's a thought, right? That's the same thing like primitive men and women were dealing with, right? Yeah. But they had real stuff to deal with. Like, I got to go figure out how to get some food, right? And we got to figure out. So it's okay. That's just the universe and energy just flowing through evolution of thoughts.
And also just your surroundings. It's like in general, your shows you watch, your movies, things you listen to, it's subliminal messaging, like anything. Like it's also all that too. You're like, man, they'd be so much better off without me. No, that's a lie. Just kidding. Like, no.
Well, and that also brings up another good point is like, so I'll say this and even I'll be like, but I don't want to do that. like don't buy into things. Like don't expose yourself mentally or emotionally to things that you don't really want in your life. Like for instance, if we eliminated all films that were violent, prone, and action, and we just watched things like The Notebook, okay, like if we shifted that, you will feel different. Now, me, I like a good like Avengers movie, and I like some violence in my film, right? And I like my war games, right? But literally, if I did turn them off, I would be in Zen. But then if you're in Zen, then what is that? That's not balance. Yeah. Like it's to me, it's not like, well, I don't want to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mad all the time either.
Yeah. We're humans. We're built to have emotions and feelings. So yeah.
So true. So true. I love it.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Let's think back. Okay. It's 1980s and there's no internet, but you hold the knowledge of today's marketing and technology. What are you going to do with it? Go out there and change the world. That's how you need to think right now. That's the feeling. Chase that. Nothing can stop you. Be ambitious, be courageous, and be creative. This time it's new, it's now, and it's yours. Go for it. You got this. This is brought to you by Think Like a Strategist podcast.
I love that, for one, that you were able to make it today on this, and that you contacted me back. Oh my gosh, she wrote me back. No.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is like, I said, you know what? If I don't reach out now, when, right? And it's like, let me do this. Cause I'm all about like, to me, it's about introducing more people to more people, but it's also building friendships. So I call you my friend now because like I feel like I feel connected. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to know more people because then as we travel, we do our life stuff. You never know when we line up again and we go, like, or we need each other at some point. Like we can help each other through a situation. I don't know. I mean, the world's crazy, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
Connections, like people make the world go round. Like, so just, and it's cool. Like for connections, I know a foot doctor. So if my foot's ever messed up, I'm like, hey, my foot's messed up,
Yes.
But, just connections in general. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Connecting people. I love it. Being the bridge maker of people.
Absolutely. And I would just encourage everybody who's watched this is I think one of the biggest things we touched on, which I love about you, is just the fact that, you are so happy, but at the same time, you are an advocate for, talking about mental health. And I think that's big. Yeah. So reach out to someone today, right? That you haven't talked to in a while. Just check on them and just say, what's good, and spend the time with them and, like put down stuff. Or for you, right? If you are dealing with something, it's okay to reach out or say something, but don't look for social media to give it to you, right?
Yeah.
Go to the support system. Go to a friend or family member, say, or take a dang mental break day. It's not that important. You can step away from whatever this is.
Yes, absolutely. That's one thing I'm so grateful for my husband. I'm like, hey, babe, just let you know I'm having an assault here. And he's like, okay, well, let's talk through it. Let's work through it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's very helpful. So.
Yeah, having a family and seeing that in your significant other and having that support system is so important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you've probably met, as you've grown in the years of your marriage, you go through things that you never thought that you were going to be dealing with as a couple. Like when you first get married, it's like, oh, it's all like this. And you're like, wait, we're dealing with some other stuff that, wow, I'm glad we really are together on this. Like, this is challenging.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And honestly, like, so my husband's not a huge fan of social media in general. He's like, okay, he's like, I wish it could all be gone. I'm like, so it's not a huge fan of social media, but still, like, he's literally like the male version of me. Like, nice. He really is. He's our best friend. Like, we mesh so well together.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so we met when I was in high school. I was 15, he was 16. That's when we started dating. So
nice.
He just turned 32 recently. So yeah.
Wow.
Half our lives we've been together. That
is so awesome. Yeah. Yes. You've hit the point now, right? Where you've been together longer than you haven't been together.
It's like, yeah.
That's a good point. That's a cool point right there. Yeah.
We've basically been in each other's life, like, for our whole adult lives. Like, yeah. 15, 16 and all. Yeah.
That is so awesome. And building that tight family, and it's not perfect, but it's there. Yeah. And you guys, that's what makes you guys you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Gosh. Yeah.
I love it.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it was.
I want you to stop scrolling for 1 second. And I want you to know that if nobody's told you today that I am proud of you. You may say, you don't know me from Adam. How are you going to be proud of me? I tell you one thing I do know. I do know that you should be proud of yourself. You're choosing yourself to move forward or better yourself every day. Okay? Whether that be decisions for hygiene care, taking a shower today, drinking some water, doing a new exercise, I'm proud of you. Whether you're trying to start a family, grow a family, you are currently in a family, you're realizing you're an incredible parent, I'm proud of you. Whether you're trying to help your finances, you started a new job or a new business, you got debt free, I'm proud of you. Whether you're getting married, starting college, graduating college, anything, I'm proud of you. Whether you're coming out, I'm proud of you. Whether you're choosing to live, I'm very proud of you. Let me know what I can be proud of in the comments for you to celebrate you.
All right, this episode is over, but we are just getting started, and I'm looking forward to sharing even more creative secrets with you in the next episode. Stay tuned. And if you got something you want me to check out, head over to the Facebook group and post it up. I'd love to see it. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.